ITL 604, week 1, assignment 1A. Hello, Professor Neiman. My name is Armando Contreras, and today I will be talking to you about my personal identity story for activity 6, the final synthesis. Um, I truly believe the events that happen in one person's life uh, makes us who we are today. And I need to go all the way back to elementary school because I think that was, for me, one of the most traumatic stuff that ever happened to me. When I was entering school, I was a Spanish-speaking kid. I didn't speak any English, and I was a very shy kid. The teachers that I had during that time, they thought I was mentally ill or slow, and as a result, they tested me for special ed. And I remember being in the classroom, just sitting there while the rest of the kids did regular assignments. I would just be coloring or just wasting time or playing with something. And sometimes I would try an assignment. But the teachers had no expectations of me. And, everyone would collect homework and they really didn't care if I did my homework or not. And I remember doing that first grade, second grade, third grade. And then by the time I was in fourth grade, I had this wonderful person by the name of Miss Torres. She literally helped change my life, and she really did. She made me feel like if I was someone, that I wasn't dumb, that I could learn, and by then, my English was a lot better, but she made me feel like if I was someone, and I will never forget. She came up with a plan with my mom, and I was behind in a lot of things, and one thing, I ended up repeating the fourth grade because of it, but the experiences that I had with Miss Torres really gave me a positive outlook in life, and by the time I reached high school, I was making the honor roll. In high school, I was a very good athlete. I was a champion wrestler. I was an all-CIF lineman for football. I ended up going to college and playing at Azusa Pacific University. I was a lineman. During that time, I didn't graduate. I didn't get my bachelor's degree, but during that time, I was also coaching in the high school. I coached football and also wrestling. I was a really good coach, and I've been coaching for over 20 years, and while I was going to school during that time, I got sidetracked, and I wanted to make some more quicker money, and I ended up getting into construction. I ended up opening up my own construction business, remodeling homes, and anything to do with the residential construction. And as a result, I ended up destroying my knees. I have arthritis all over my body, and I came to a point where I couldn't physically work anymore. And thank God that I had a lot of schooling completed before, so I just went back to school, finished my bachelor's degree, and I started substitute teaching, and this is where I am now. But going back to my identity, I was raised in a Latino household where my father and mother, they really instilled hard work and respect. My father, in Spanish, he would always say, every Saturday morning, whenever we were there watching TV or something, he would always come in and say, "Put on your shoes, it's time to go to work." He would say it differently in Spanish. He would say, "Póngase los zapatos, a chingarle pa'l maíz." It's a bad word in there, so I don't really like to say it, but that's what I grew up. My dad always putting that into us to work hard. And one of the things that I've learned also through the years is being a Spanish-speaking person is not a negative. It's a positive thing of who I am today, and the countless people that I have helped and will help just by speaking Spanish and honoring the Spanish-speaking kids who literally, they feel ashamed to speak Spanish, or when they don't understand something. I feel I could really connect with these students, because I'm bilingual, because I speak Spanish. I'm able to connect with these kids. And one thing I did learn from the test that we did, because before I took the hidden bias test, I felt like, no, I'm not biased. I felt like I was good, but the results showed different. It shows how you could lean one way or the other. So I think we need to be really open all the time, um, as far as to reflect on our decisions that we make when it's involving kids in general. Um, yeah. So my early expectations uh, has I'm sorry, I had notes here. I'm not even following my notes, but so one of the things that I did have learned is that teaching is just not about academics. It's about understanding the student stories and their lives and their backgrounds. That's one thing that I will try to uh, take into practice, is always create a safe, inclusive environment where the students feel safe and respected every single time. My goal is to provide. Uh, I just went over this with our last class, with routines, procedures, and expectations, over and over and over. That way, the kids do feel safe, and they're able to thrive in that environment. Um, Let me close it up really quick. I think because when I worked in construction, I like I said, I had a couple knee replacements. I couldn't work anymore. I had to make money, and I could have just given up, but I decided to go back to school, and that's one story that I share with my kids, that there's always going to be problems, there's always going to be battles growing up, but there's always going to be a way out, always going to be a way out. And now that I got my bachelor's degree, I'm substitute teaching. I'm working with kids who I don't even see this as a job. It's been really a big blessing. I thank God for every moment that has gone my way. And my goal for these kids is for me to be a Miss Torres to some of these kids who I know need help, and I know I can help them out. So that is my goal. And I had other notes, but I know I'm already at 7-minute mark. But all right, Miss Naaman. Hopefully that's okay. All right. Have a good day. Bye.